You need a bucket list. What's up guys, welcome to the video. If you watched my last one, you know that I was in Europe and I was there to knock off a major bucket list item. See, when I was a kid, I lived in Italy. And so growing up in Italy, the goal was to have a Lamborghini and a Ducati in my garage one day. Even though I don't have one in my garage right now, I've always wanted to go back and ride a Ducati in Italy. And again, if you watched my last video, you saw that I was with my best friend Nate, and one of his bucket list items was to follow Tom Cruise's advice and ride a motorcycle along the Amalfi coast. So we decided to fly to Rome together and knock off 2 bucket list items at once. Now, a little disclaimer, I tried to vlog this whole thing live, but the weather just said F you and wasn't having it. It rained and rained and rained, but I did get some footage. So here's a recap as well as some tips on how to knock out bucket list items for you and a reason that you have to have one yourself. Originally, we had 4 days and 3 nights. The plan was to land in Rome, go all the way to Amalfi in day 1. From there, we'd spend 2 nights somewhere between Sorrento and Amalfi and just enjoy the coastline. And then on the 3rd night, we'd go back to Rome and enjoy our last day in Rome before flying back to Zurich. What happened in the first day set the tone for the rest of the trip. The night before we went to get our motorcycles, we realized that the bike shop we actually rented the bikes from was closed on Sundays, the day we were arriving in Rome. Even though that wasn't going to be a huge deal, it meant that we lost an entire day. Luckily, we ended up finding a better bike shop, and it was basically a Ducati dealership. All that she had was Ducatis, and there were tons of different types available. When we looked through her inventory online, we were super excited to find some super sports, which are really fast sport bikes, and then we booked those. The original bike shop didn't even have Ducatis, and so it was kind of a bummer, and it showed us that number 1, things are gonna go wrong, and number 2, things go wrong for a reason. So you just have to accept it and roll with those punches. Now, when we got to the shop, we realized that the bikes we rented weren't even available and wouldn't be there for a month. But we still got 2 amazing bikes. One, the Ducati Monster 927 and the Hyper Motard. This makes me jump ahead a little bit, but the bikes that we ended up getting were so much more comfortable and just safer to ride in the conditions that we were in for the over 600-mile journey. After we got all the paperwork signed and left with our bikes, we decided to hit the town and see what Rome was all about. I'd been to Rome as a kid, but it's so different to go back to a place that you hadn't seen in so many years and just see what it's like as an adult, and it was amazing. We saw some of the biggest parts of history, from the Colosseum to the Pantheon, and then just saw how different it was to be in a city like that has such a huge population and has been standing for thousands of years. We had an amazing lunch, we had coffee, and then we realized that if we didn't hit the road, we'd be a little behind. So after the first couple hours in Rome, we hit the road down to the coast. In under an hour, we made it to the Italian West Coast. It was beautiful. The weather was great, the roads were empty, and we got some amazing scenery. The entire trip was supposed to be under 6 hours, but of course we stopped along the way, decided to see the sights, take some pictures, and just enjoy the ride. The goal was to stop at a few major sites like Pompeii, Naples, and then just cruise through Sorrento before we actually got to our Airbnb. Unfortunately, keeping with the theme of things going wrong, it started to pour rain within just a couple hours of us leaving Rome. The weather didn't look like it was gonna let up for the next couple days, so as we could, we just made our way from city to city, avoiding the wettest parts of the storm. For a trip that was supposed to be done in under 6 hours, it seemed like time had basically stopped. We've been riding for hours in crazy conditions, and we basically weren't moving anywhere. Everything from issues navigating to having to stop for rain and traffic, and all the other things just kept us from getting to our goal. By the time it got dark, the weather had actually subsided a little bit, just in time for us to make it to Naples. Now, in a way, I was a little bummed out because although I wanted to see Naples, it wasn't really on my list of places to stay. And even though I'd been through a lot of Italy, so many people had talked about how dirty and how crime-ridden it is. And to be honest, it kind of was. But just like a lot of other cities that I love, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Naples was one of my favorite stops. There's amazing history in Naples. You can find beautiful architecture covered with the emotions of the people that live there. You'll find beautiful buildings covered in graffiti, and you'll find some of the most amazing people that you could imagine. We had some of the best food and coffee and wine on our entire trip there in Naples. We were lucky enough to get a few hours of sleep before we'd start our journey the next day. Although it wasn't on my list originally, it's definitely on my list of places to go back and spend some more time there in Italy. So after a few short hours of sleep, we got up and made our way down to Pompeii. The weather continued to just hound us, but within about half an hour, we had made our way around Mount Vesuvius to the edge of the old city of Pompeii. We didn't have time to actually book the tour and go through the town It was kind of a bummer, but it was really, really cool to look in from the edge of the town and just see the buildings that were over 2,000 years old. Despite not being able to see everything inside, it was just this incredible feeling, being able to sit at the edge and just look back at history. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to really hang out and be there. The mission was to get to Amalfi. It was already starting to pour rain again. The good thing is, it was only about an hour from Pompeii down to where we were going to stay in Sorrento, and we decided we were going to make it there by lunchtime. After 2 days of riding in what felt like a hurricane, we had finally made it to beautiful Sorrento. The coastline is absolutely beautiful. There's steep cliffs, there's pastel-colored houses, and there's vineyards from edge to edge on every single cliff. Normally something like this would be really exciting on a motorcycle, but the entire way from Naples to Salerno is a 2-lane road riddled with tour buses, cars, mopeds, and for us, torrential downpour. So we slowly and carefully made our way to our Airbnb, to one of the most beautiful Airbnb views I've seen in my entire life. From this point, it was basically like our vacation had begun. And it was really hard to know that we had to leave that place in a day or two. But from here, we were able to slow down, get our gear dry, have an amazing lunch, the best wine I've had in the entire world, delicious coffee, and the best pizza that I've probably had anywhere. If I'm traveling in the United States, I typically lean towards staying in a hotel, but every time I've gone abroad, Airbnb is absolutely the way to go. We had local people with us, we were able to communicate and go to places that were actually going to be local places and not too touristy, places that had the best coffee, places that had the nicest people. Staying in the Airbnb was the best view and the best way that we could have experienced Sorrento. Finally, with a really comfortable bed, we were able to get a full night's sleep, but we had to hit the road and finish the mission on our way to Amalfi. At this point, all of my gear was dry. I was actually able to vlog the rest of our trip. Welcome to the video from the beautiful Amalfi coast. This video is just all about the best way to see Italy and the best way to check off a few bucket list items in your life before you don't have the opportunity to do it anymore. I've got the alopecia beard growing in strong this time. It's hard to tell, but it's actually even all the way around. It's just blonde where it looks like it's not there. So I lived in Italy as a kid. There's so many things I didn't get to do. And so the biggest mission on this ride is to get to Amalfi and have as much coffee and wine as possible. I think we accomplished that. I'm feeling it today. How about you? A couple bottles of wine, tons of pizza. We're on the coast, lots of fish, all kinds of stuff, and it's been great. Once a year, we get together and do something crazy, and our only directive from family and friends is don't die. This trip came about because we wanted to go just ride somewhere cool, and Nate has a bucket list.
So a few years back, I don't remember the movie name now, but Tom Cruise says that there are 3 things you need to do before you die for him. So I just, copied that from him. But one of them is riding motorcycle along the Amalfi coast. And the other one is, but we'll get to the other one later. But this is the biggest one for me, and I'm most excited about this one for years.
Riding motorcycles like Tom Cruise. We're almost down to Amalfi. We're actually staying in Sorrento for the night. The weather, although it's been nice, it's been a lot of rain, a lot of wind, a lot of traffic. Just like in the last video, we got to adapt, but we're gonna make it and get back up. I'm gonna grab some Italian coffee and hit the road. Welcome to Amalfi. We were supposed to get here 2 days ago. It took us 3 days to get here. It's been raining the whole time. As you guys can see, it's really cloudy, it's pretty windy. It's been a hell of a ride, but it's been amazing. And it's been worth every minute of rain, every minute of not sleeping. Everything we've done has been awesome. Coffee's awesome, the food's amazing, and it's just been a bucket list item for both of us. I think having a bucket list and pushing yourself a little further to make those things happen will change your life completely. I think that's really important for everybody. Have a list of goals, and it could be bucket list type things you have to do before you die. I personally see it as just like this list of things that I'm going to do, places I'm going to go, but it's really good to have that list so you can make things happen. We just kind of booked this trip on the fly. It was a few months ago, but we knew that we wanted it to be cheap. We knew we wanted to see as much of the coast as we could, and we made both those things happen. It's been very slow, but we've accomplished our goals. Goal is to get down to Amalfi. I think in total, including flights, motorcycle rental, food, and then a new place to stay every night, this whole trip will be under $2,500. And as you know, I was in Switzerland last week, so adding that up, we've been able to make this whole thing cheap, make some amazing memories, and do some really cool shit. So go write your list. Italians are crazy, dude. Amalfi has been really cool. Naples was really cool. There's lots of culture all throughout Italy. Most of the Italians are super nice, very like hospitable people. They teach you how to say things. Everybody's spoken English everywhere we've been, which is both, to me, kind of disappointing because I didn't do the work to learn Italian, but Nate and I are butchering whatever Italian we know anyway, so it's an amazing country. And the best way to see it, even if you just go to one city, is to get a moped or a motorcycle, because you can go where other people can drive, you can park anywhere you want. Most of the time you don't even have to pay. Get a motorcycle and go see Italy. Hopefully it's not too windy. One of the biggest things that I've learned and that we've learned over the past several days is that everything happens for a reason. When you're doing these trips, you can just get better at understanding that. A lot of things worked out where we didn't get hurt, we didn't have to spend extra money, we didn't have to really worry about dealing with a lot of other people. So everything works out, and if you can take it and roll with the punches, your bucket list is gonna be awesome. Everything you wanna do is gonna take a lot of work, it's gonna be really stressful, but it's going to be worth it. Now we're out on the lighthouse bridge. You can see way back here is where we drove in from. And then around the corner all the way over here, we're gonna go get some drone footage, see the last bit of Amalfi, and then head back to Rome. Let's go check out the view. What y'all think of that? We got Nate Dogg along the coast, little Tom Cruise action. We met some Australians, a whole bunch of people got to see the drone footage. It was pretty dope. Every time we try to do something, there's another challenge. Like I keep saying, like if you know that these bucket list items are gonna come with challenges, and then just like accept it, it'll be so much better. They're gonna suck, it's gonna be hard. Every time we try to do something, something bad happens, but it's been worth it. We're gonna pack up our shit. It says 3 hours back to Rome. It's probably gonna be 3 or 4 days based on Nate and I's timeline, but we're gonna try to beat it at least halfway to Rome before tonight, get some more good footage. We'll see you back in Rome. God, it's been a battle. We're like 14 hours out from Rome. We thought we were gonna make it in 3. The rain has been crazy. I don't think we've ever booked a trip like this and not had just been fucking way off schedule. So I guess plan that into your bucket list items. This bag from Peter McKinnon has kept all of my gear dry. So shout out to Nomadic and Peter McKinnon. We're gonna go get some pizza and some wine and just be thankful that we got another day to ride. This is how you do wine in Italy. $6. €6 for a whole liter. That's how you do it. last push. We've got 2 hours. It was 1,100 kilometers, I don't know, 600 miles or so. Rain, wind, crazy traffic. People drive crazy in Rome, man. But it's always been a dream of mine to ride a Ducati in Italy. And then Nate got his dream of doing the Tom Cruise ride in Amalfi. We even got these pictures for you. And if you guys want to tag Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz, let them see that. Maybe they'll repost it. So this was awesome. Like I said, have your bucket list. No, it's gonna suck to get it done, but this was by far one of the coolest fucking trips I've ever done. Sets the bar high for the next one. Yeah. If you guys decide to do it, ride smart. We didn't push it. It rained like hell and we got off. We didn't push our speed. Get training, get your licenses, always have your gear. Be smart. Guys, go get some shit done so that you can do this too. Never rest.